Why, hello. I'm gonna do some makeup while we chit chat. These are my new pajamas, so yeah. Like, I always grew up having a plan, right? Like, maybe you're like me, where you always had a plan, you always have goals, you always felt like you couldn't just live, you had to have like a solid reasoning for it. I like a little curiosity. I like a little mystery in life, but controlled mystery. If I could have it my way, I would be like, okay, well, sure, we can have some mystery as long as the overall arching outline turns out the way I want it to turn out. So, and then we can throw in some surprises. But you can't make a deal with God or a deal with the universe about what's going to go your way and what's not. If you don't allow that flexibility, it's going to make life a lot harder, and it does make life a lot harder because really nothing feels certain. I mean, how many times have we heard people be like, I was so sure about that job, or so sure about that relationship, or so sure about that city or whatever, and it kind of falls through. A lot of times it falls through, you know? I'm not saying like, oh, you're totally helpless. It's not that. It's just about sometimes you just have to make the move, right? Like for example, I'm going through a transitional period too, because I'm not necessarily in the career I used to be. I'm in something similar. And then I just graduated. I'm in my late 20s right now. And life has changed tremendously since when I was in my early 20s. So, given that, I'm going through a transition of, do I want to stay in California? Do I want to move? If I stay in California, what part of California? Do I want to go back to Los Angeles? But at the end of the day, like, I'm applying to jobs in cities that I'm interested in. I'm throwing a dart and saying, universe, let me know what you think, sort of thing. There's only so much I can do. So getting caught up in all of the analysis I get caught up in has literally just added so much anxiety and so much stress, and it literally has made no difference in the actual outcome. So things that you felt totally unsure about end up working out. Things you feel totally sure about don't always end up working out. So yeah, now when people ask me like, what's your 5-year plan? I used to love that question. I still love that. And now I'm like, I don't know. It could look different ways. You know, if I'm really enjoying my job that I'm doing at that time, maybe continue to grow in that job, continue in that trajectory. If I'm in a relationship I really like at that time, maybe I'll continue to grow. I can't force things to go exactly A, B, and C. I have little things, like one day I would love to have, you know, like a little rescue with dogs and all of that. I think that would be so nice. But am I like, it has to be at year 5 or I failed and it has to look like this? No. You don't know how you're truly going to handle something until you handle it. It's great to learn coping mechanisms and learn about yourself, and so you can kind of like gauge what you want overall out of life and what situations you're comfortable with and what you're looking for. I think that's really important. But it's also good to just sometimes just say, screw it. Let me try new things. Let me see how this is. And then pivot if I need to. Life is a lot of pivoting. Definitely realize that. Okay, I'm going to finish up with my mascara, and then we might move over to a different location. Yeah, so essentially what I am learning is, you know, not to be less reflective. Well, I'm saying this so maybe it'll help you too if you deal with similar stuff, but not to be less reflective, not trying to stop growing or stop having goals. I do think self-awareness is one of the most valuable things that we can develop. I think a lot of people do not. So I think just a lot of people are not very self-reflective, and it shows. Okay. I'm learning that maybe not every feeling needs to be analyzed. Sometimes we can just sit with it, right? Accept it, release, let it go. Okay, so another big one, more confidence comes from action. Like I've been saying, action, not certainty, just seeing shit through. Not trying to think your way into an answer, because honestly, a lot of times that's just not it. You make a hypothesis, an educated guess, as much as you can. I'm the type of person, I like to gather as much information as possible before I make a decision. And honestly, I'm trying to do less of that just because I don't got time and energy for all that all the time. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that you do not have all the information, and you really aren't ever going to until you actually see it through. And then if you're learning how to be in touch with yourself and this or that, then you go with how you're feeling, how are things going, if it feels right, if it doesn't, why, and then you can kind of dive into a deeper thing. But at least you started to make action at this point and moves and try to work through it, Yeah, and I think healing is really learning to trust yourself. It's really not always this big breakthrough. I try to learn from everything I do to where I think it can be a detriment many times. Now I'm glad that I, once again, self-reflect. At the same time, sometimes life just happens. Sometimes hard stuff happens. Sometimes there is no huge breakthrough. You're just going through life. And that's okay. That's okay. And the last thing I really want to emphasize is try to detach from an outcome as much as you can. Kettle, pot, I get it. Okay. I'm the queen of attaching myself to a specific outcome, but I am learning. I mean, what if you're doing yourself a disservice? You think that the outcome in your brain is the best possible thing for you, but maybe it's not. And maybe that thing you want will happen, but at a different timeline. Work for the things you want in life. I do believe in that. I believe in resilience. I believe everything takes work if you really want it, whether that's friendships, relationship, job, goal, just any sort of goal in life. It takes working at it and working through the discomfort. That's key. But I think you learn a lot about yourself along the way. And when you let things unfold and just let life kind of surprise you. So maybe it's less time looking for answers and more time just participating in life, letting yourself fall, letting yourself succeed, win, fail, just celebrate them all as much as you can. And just allow all the emotions. Some of the most important answers in your life is not by thinking more. It's just by living. I really appreciate you sitting here and talking with me today, because I do think this is very relevant. And I think a lot of people can relate to this topic, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because it's been on my mind, obviously, a lot, and it's something that I think is a process through, navigating through life for your entire life. And if any of this helped you and any knowledge I got to share, I would love if it helped you, or if you at least felt seen, or even just like a little chit chat with your friend Jade, then yeah, that made it worth it. Like this video, for example, I thought of all the things, like what do I want to, how should I say this, how should I that? And I was like, Jade, you babble, that's what you do. One of the things you love about yourself is your authenticity and your fun spirit and your babbleness and whatever. Just babble, because guess what? You have an editor. I mean, I'm the editor, but I mean, you have a software editor. So you can just edit out as much as you want, if you want, and see if I can create some sort of coherentness in this. And I'm sure I can. You want to know why? Because I trust myself. I believe in myself. And you should believe in yourself too. Okay, bye.